Hey folks, this is episode 376 of the OotiniCast, being recorded on 2019, December 3rd. And first of all, let me get... Right now we're just taking a few moments to kind of get ready. The actual show will start soon. This is the raw version of the show, which will be streamed out, is being streamed out, and will go out on YouTube. And then we will polish it and edit it, and the audio version of the podcast will be out tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and do the tweet out here. Okay, it's got that tweeted out. I'll go ahead and retweet it since we have a moment. There we go. I want to make sure of something here. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Okay. Sorry, we just need a minute or two before we actually get going. Very nice. Are you about ready, Doc?
Almost.
I like your green screen picture.
Thanks.
Very nice. Okay, so not a ton of news this week, so it might be a little short, or we can also vamp a bit, maybe go a little longer on the mind trap, that sort of thing. It's all good.
Okay.
Because yeah, we're sort of in an in-between period, because 9.0.2 is coming out in 2 weeks. They finally basically announced that. They didn't really say 9.0.2, but they gave it as the start date for Life Day and for the 8-year anniversary. So we know when those are going to be, and then and often during the holidays, assuming they're not working on something big like an expansion or something, they do seem to sort of let people have time with their families and that sort of thing. It's usually pretty quiet around the holidays, so I think we're going to be a little light on news probably the next couple of shows, but I know you've got some interesting things going on for January, Doc, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, let me start Audacity. All right, so I just hit record.
Okay. I'll double check.
So
But
we can go ahead and
Mine
start.
is going. Excellent. All right, then I think we're ready to go. Yes, exactly, Intisar. All right, let me have a little water, and I'll be ready to go then.
Oh yeah, let me let me open up an extra Chrome window so I can have the Twitch chat.
Okay. Oh wow, the middle of one of your eyes is kind of showing the green screen through it.
Haha.
It makes a very weird effect.
That's called the dark side chill.
That's right.
I can't change my eye color, but green is the best color to make things disappear.
For chroma key, yeah.
Yeah. I have blue, but it doesn't work as well.
You're right. And your eyes are more blue than green anyway, it looks like, to me anyway.
Yeah, I can't win.
Right.
I really can't. So.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay. Let's get going here. I'll go in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. I have spoken. This is episode 376, being recorded on Tuesday, December 3rd, 2019. And you knew that one was going to be coming, right? I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, Dr SWTOR. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing great, except you ruined my intro because I have spoken.
There you go. What you been up to in-game?
Well, I've been getting my Lightning Sorcerer called on, ready for the hardest content that I can get myself involved in.
Nice.
I have gotten all of my augments, although I haven't succeeded at getting the schematics for them myself. I've crafted 7 blue ones, and none of them have given me a better schematic yet.
Right. And how much were they off the GTN, or did you get them from guildies, or how did that work for you?
So I set in my mind that I'm never going to spend 20 million credits on one augment. So what I would do every day is I would look at what they're going for the cheapest cost, and then I get in my head based on that number. If it goes lower, am I willing to do it? So a couple of the days I bought 5 of them for like 16.5 million a piece. And then I think the highest I went was 19.2. It's very expensive, but also, you know, I thought about just buying the materials to try and get the schematic myself, but because of the RNG factor of reverse engineering the ones that you do craft that are blue, I just decided I would rather go for this person has already crafted them. It's not RNG. I will definitely receive it in my mailbox.
Right.
So I bought a couple extra ones just so I could play around with accuracy and switch around some of the balance between critical rating and alacrity.
Right.
And I have my tune at a place that I'm very happy with. And I was able to actually start working on my parses and making sure that I have the new opener for Lightning Sorc exactly where I want it to be, because the set bonus and the tactical have changed the best order for when you use force speed and when you use polarity shift.
Nice.
Because those two things play off of each other in a new way. And also Lightning Flash causes extra lightning to flash over top of 3 of your other moves based on the tactical that I'm using.
Sweet.
So it's not at all the same opener, except for like the spirit of the opener is the same as it was in 5.0, but it's actually very different if you want to squeeze out that extra bit of DPS. So I included in the show notes that I actually, since I'm working on the opener, the parse that I've been pouring the most effort into is just the 1 million training dummy. And I was able to, at one point I was 3rd on this list. Now I'm 4th. So Thanks
Nice.
for whoever decided to pass me.
Still, that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been really pushing myself to kill things as fast as possible. And that's
Yeah.
been kind of fun in my Sunday night raid team because our friend of the show, Marcus from Working Class Nerds, he switched over to being a full-time tank for that team. And so when he forgets to guard me, it creates hilarious occurrences in the boss battles. Because if I'm doing my thing unfiltered and untethered to mechanics and just blasting, he has no chance unless he guards me. So that's been pretty fun. It's caused some really weird quick deaths in some bosses, but that's
Right.
you know, you just laugh, you run it back, pull the boss again. It's just a fun time. Rating's been really fun the last couple weeks. My Thursday team is working on boss number 2 in Nature of Progress, which is the boss where you're just running through the jungle and through the facility, clearing ads in a very organized way and trying to get to the end where you have a final room. You have to shut the door as the ads are running towards you, and then you have to clear out the room and kill the 2 droids and activate the control system for the facility. And we haven't succeeded at that yet, but we're progging it really well. And
Cool.
so that's where I'm at. I've also cleared Conquest on some of my crafting tunes and bought a bunch of those compendiums from the Victory droid on the fleet.
Nice.
That seems to be the best way to get your companions to rank 50,
Right.
where their crafting has the best opportunity to be successful for you. And so that's been my week.
Nice.
So I want to hear from you. I also want to check in who's with us in the middle of the afternoon today.
I'll do that too. I do have one question though. So these really expensive augments that you've been purchasing, have you been finding a way in Onslaught to make a lot of credits, or are you burning down credits that you were getting from the previous expansion?
I have been burning down credits that I had from 5.0.
Okay.
I think that this expansion is separating us into 2 types of players: those who bank and those who don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have not had any good luck with crafting and getting those better schematics to be able to be self-sufficient in that area. And I don't really want to prolong my DPS progress for months, you know. So I have the credits, and that's really the main reason I play. So I thought about it for a few weeks and just decided I don't feel bad about spending the credits that way, because achievement and beating bosses and parsing well, those are really key for what connects me to the game.
Right.
So
right.
If that kind of stuff didn't matter to me, or if I was just playing the story mode versions of these bosses where my DPS is fine for every op in story mode, so that wouldn't have mattered. And I don't think we've hit a point where DPS is the make or break cause of our losses in veteran mode. I think it's mechanics.
Nice.
Okay. So I just decided I wanted to contribute as best I can to the 2 teams I'm on. So I decided to do it. But I think there is a lot of... I made that decision a couple days before we found out about the crafting changes that are coming.
Okay.
So maybe I could have been a little more patient if I had more of a specific date in mind.
Okay, cool. All right, so let me. So I'll do the people who are in chat today. We've got Eric, Deathguard 20, Intisar Nor, Jutta Grilla, Siskaika, Squitchy Twitchy, and Starry Saber. Hey everyone, and
hey everyone.
Right. So yeah, as far as as far as credits, I think I had maybe 12 million credits or so at the drop of Onslaught, so I am in no position. I've been like scraping credits like down to like the 1 million level or so, pretty much, ever since I started getting to the point where I had to like swap out all the things for 100,000 each, and then spend a bunch on getting my amplifiers correct. But having said that, I do now have a set of 306 gear, all the right set bonuses, the tactical I want. The seventh piece is an amplified one, so I have a DPS amplifier on it. All the amplifiers are nearly perfect. They're either purple or gold, and they're the type of. There's two types that I like for that class, and so that's what I've been going for. So pretty happy with that. Damage is massively improved. It feels now kind of like how it did towards the end of like the last expansion, where you're actually killing weaks in like 1 to 2 hits, silvers and a few globals and golds and 5 and 6 globals, that sort of thing. Whereas before that, and it's amazing how much like the amplifiers make a difference, and some of these amplifiers are like really nice for damage. I mean, definitely like focus on getting those correct, because it actually makes a difference for sure. I did add augments, but I just added the rank 10s. I was able to make crit augments, and I made a few more augment kits that I didn't have, and so I have the level 10s. I'm going to work on level 11s once the next patch hits, because that's the one where crew skills are going to change. And like I said, I just have one set because it's like I'm just going to swap it anyway. It's like it's easier to swap it than to like have these slight differences between the two sets and slightly different amplifiers and all that. And even if I got two sets together, I would probably want to have like one really perfect set, and then one will be like, well, the amplifiers aren't quite great or whatever, but we'll make it work, that sort of thing. And I'd rather just have one good set and just swap it between them, and that seems to be working for me okay. And yeah, I have been working on crafting some, but I'm stopping at purples. I look at the goal, and it's like 5% chance is too low. That means, even if I have average luck, it's going to take 20 times to get the next recipe. So I have actually purchased, I have biochem on both my main and my mirror, and I've been buying, I bought both the med pack gold and the adrenal gold. I haven't gotten the stim gold yet. And that's another thing that's been burning a lot of credits, because those are, I've been looking for deals, but it still probably averages about 4.5, almost 5 million for each of those. So I've been making some credits, because that's 20 million credits right there, plus everything else I've been doing. Been selling a lot of purple stims, and level 10 augments actually still sell pretty well right now still. They're still, like 150, 200,000 credits a piece. You can make those pretty quickly. I've been also just selling the purple cell, like the excuse me, it's the biochem thing that you make, you use to make everything. And the purple versions are actually worth roughly as much as like a purple stim, which is weird. I don't know why people are buying them. Maybe to buy and then have a guildie make something for them. That's what I'm thinking is why people would buy them for that sort of money. But they do sell, so I've been selling those. I've sold some of the gold embers that you get sometimes from deconstructing items that are 300 or higher, and they're used in high level crafting as well. But I've just been selling them on the GTN because I haven't gotten any gold recipes yet. But and they're, I mean, early on in the expansion, I was selling embers for like 600,000, and now they're like 200,000, 250,000, something like that. I think because people are holding off on them, and they're a little more common than you might think, because you can just get them from deconstructing items that you get, and you should be able to get a pretty good amount of items. So maybe once a day, every other day or something like that, you're going to see an ember drop, and maybe more often than that sometimes. And so they come pretty regularly. The other place I've gotten them from is from rank 11 wealthy missions. So if you have a slicer, you send them out, you get the missions back, you send them out, and sometimes they come back with embers. I'm not sure if they come back from every type of crafting wealthy, level 11 but definitely they come from some of them. I'm just not sure which. So anyway.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is some of that financial stuff is kind of stabilizing under the current system, and
Yeah.
people are really starting to notice which things they need to buy and which ones they can increase the cost of.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've been
There's also
experiencing
like
that too.
yeah, and there's also like this strange tension because like everyone who is crafting is pretty much aware of the fact that the next patch is going to massively change the structure. It's like
So we
everything's going to be
believe.
cheaper. You know, well, we've had enough details on it. It's not we haven't gotten perfect details yet, but we have enough details from what they've
Yeah.
said that we know that everything is going to be cheaper to make, pretty much all the way up, mostly. Maybe not the stuff that requires embers. They were saying they might actually increase that, which would be another reason why embers are cheap right now, because maybe they made them a little more common than they were expecting to, or something like that. The chance of getting a higher recipe is going to go up. The missions are going to be improved so that rich will actually give you greens, which right now they don't. So you almost don't send. I don't send anyone out on rich missions because otherwise I just run out of greens to make stuff. So everybody will be able to use rich missions. It's going to massively change everything. So like there's like this sort of tension, like certain things are happening crafting wise, but there's a lot of waiting going on for that patch to drop, and we know that that's now going to be 2 weeks from now. So it's going to be and that's bam, everything is going to change, and everything is going to, people are going to hit the ground running. I know I am. I'm going to want to try to get my crit augments on my synth weaver. I'm going to want to get a lot my some of the gold recipes perhaps for my bio, all that good stuff. So it's gonna happen. Yeah. One other thing I did is, I did the Datacrons on both of the planets. That was really fun. It was really
Awesome.
yeah. Definitely Indiana Jones best one. And then the two that were just like parkour ones were really fun. And then the one on Meksha where you have to like leap onto the little kiosk thing, the little advertising kiosk or whatever it is.
Yeah, the rainbow disc.
Yeah. I found that one buggy and kind of awkward, and I wanted to like it. I think I could see where it could be cool, but I had some issues with it and didn't really like. For instance, when I jumped on the kiosk and then I started riding it around, it just auto-killed me for like no clear reason. Like I wasn't going anywhere where I shouldn't really. It was just following its path. And I did it again and it killed me in the exact same spot. So it's auto-killing you, and why, I don't know. But you don't get to see the whole path. So for that one I ended up doing something that Kid Lee recommends. Although we also have a tip of the week about this particular Datacron as well, and we'll get to that pretty soon. So I did the version where you kind of leap onto the kiosk, but then instead of trying to jump onto the other thing later on that you're kind of quote-unquote supposed to, if you land on the kiosk and then immediately drop, you can get to the deck below and still have a little bit of health. And so that's what I did. And I got a little lucky because the deck below has these little arms that are very thin that stick out from the sides, and I landed on one of those. So
they have amplifiers now too that lessen your fall
feather
damage.
Fall, right?
Yeah. So if you are
or featherweight,
seriously,
I think it's called.
Yeah, if you're seriously having trouble with that Datacron, maybe just get your random pieces of gear that you're going to get rid of anyway.
Right.
And
make
roll
a
some of those
featherweight set. Yeah.
Yep. And if you are able to remove 10% of that damage and you fall and then you fall and you have 5% damage, that means you would have been dead. But that's just being smart and using the tools that BioWare gives you to solve their puzzle.
Yep. So that's gonna. Yeah. So it was fun to do though. The Indiana Jones one was fun. I actually did that one, like, basically without really using a guide. I went because I kind of knew what the score was. I think and I sort of like, and I had to figure out the pattern.
The droid on the left,
and then find. I mean, I used a guide like at one point. I think I was like trying to figure out, okay, what the heck's going on here. And then once that happened, I was like, okay, I figured out all the rest on my own. It's like, okay, now I get across here, and it's kind of a mind melter because you have to turn around and run very quickly, and your brain has to be able to figure out, okay, safe was on the left, therefore safe is on the right on the way back, but it's also in reverse order, so anyway, yeah, a lot of fun. That one was really awesome.
Did you play it with your graphics settings having shadows, or did you lower the graphics settings so that you can see more of a fully lit version of the hallway?
Oh, interesting. No, I didn't change it in any way. Yeah. That's
I had
pretty cool.
to change it. I could not get through without...
Right. Some of those spikes are
playing on...
Yeah. The spikes are pretty hard to spot.
Yeah. I had to make my game look like some of those old school PlayStation games where there's no
Atari
shadows. Yeah, everything's fully lit and gray and like foggy looking.
That's funny.
It doesn't take much to step on those spikes either. Those spikes are very specifically placed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're listening to this show and you don't know what we're talking about, get your highest level tune to Onderon.
Yep.
And go join the ranks of Indiana Jones with us. It's one of the best Datacrons in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really is.
Such a neat experience.
Yeah. Then speaking of guides and so on, I also did the Onderon Seeker mission, and that was really interesting. I liked doing that one, and I did that one as much as I could without a guide, and I actually managed to get all but one of the pieces without help from a guide, which was really cool. Like, I found the little crack, and then I found the little hiding, bit of armor, and I found the only one I had trouble with was the last one I actually tried. I was like so far through it, and I hadn't used a guide, and I was hoping not to, and then I got stuck, and I had to use a guide. Basically, there's one of them where I was looking for things where it'd be like something that was, man-made or sapient made, and then it would be around there. But they made this little ruin so small that you can't see it from a distance. And I was looking at kind of everywhere else in this pretty big circle that you have to look in. And even when I got there, it turns out there was a bug and the item wasn't invisible. So if I wasn't using the guide, I wouldn't have been able to spot it anyway, unless my cursor happened to hover over it, and then the tooltip would have popped up on the screen, because it does. And it actually let me click on it even though I couldn't see it directly. So that was lucky, but it was a little awkward. But yeah, so that was the lightsaber hilt. That was the one I had trouble with. But everything else I found legitimately, like just using the fact that it gives you the circles on the map to actually, kind of start your search. I also liked the tome was kind of fun, sneaking through the tombs looking for stuff. Felt really good. All right.
Is that the daily mission where you basically have to find the tablets and you have to find all the different
it's in that area.
Artifacts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then you fight the monster in the center of the... That's a really nice mission. It's frustrating if you have already cleared one of the corners and you didn't click on something, because then you have to go all the way back. But I'm sure those of us who rely on those weekly and daily missions are going to get it, where we just instinctively do it correctly.
Right. Yep.
And the gearbox that they give you seems to always have one set bonus item in it. Compared to the other boxes, like the Flashpoint boxes, you're not guaranteed something like that.
Right.
But that box happens to be gold bordered.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found that the rewards I've gotten so far, I've only run that weekly 3 times, but all 3 times I got something that was a little bit more significant.
Yeah, I've actually gotten to legendary on Onderon, so that was pretty
good
cool.
job.
Yeah, I did a lot of that daily and weekly on both my main and my mirror. There wasn't too much on the vendors that I really wanted, but I did grab I grabbed all the decos. I grabbed one for myself and then one for the two guilds and donated them. So the guild has one on each side of everything. So that's pretty cool. The mounts are kind of cool. I mean, there's a couple of critter mounts on both of them, and you know, it's up to you whether you like them or not. I decided not to get them for my particular characters, but also because they're like 1,000,000 credits, and I have a lot of things to do with 1,000,000 credits right now. So
that's 1/18 of one of my augments. Chill.
Yeah, exactly.
No way.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to get my my amplifiers correct and stuff like that. So yeah, I also deleted my old Lara Croft cosplay character and I remade her. I'm actually leveling her from level 1. I'm actually enjoying that a lot. I tried leveling his heals because that was the idea. Is like, I've never really done like mercenary heals before. But I got really tired of leveling it that way. It was really slow and awkward, and even though I was giving my companion as many gifts as I could, it was just awkward. So I've switched to Arsenal, a spec which I also haven't really done much of. I haven't played it in a long time, but I'm actually really enjoying it so far, and she's now in Act 3 of the class story. She's in her early 40s level-wise, and yeah, it's going pretty well. I'm enjoying it a lot. So, and it's going to be yet another crafting because she's going to be Artifice, so of course, because, Artifice, so it's archaeology and treasure hunting, so perfect for Lara Croft. So,
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I think that'll bring us to the tip of the week, and we have a couple of tips this time. Apparently, Jay will play in chat as saying, "Oh, I forgot to send him my tip." Well, there's always next time. All right, first tip is a little unusual. We've got an audio tip from Florian, so let me get this going. Doc won't be able to hear it live, but he will. He knows about it. He heard it.
Yeah, it's an awesome tip, so enjoy, everybody.
Hello, OotiniCast. My name is Florian, and I have a tip for you for one of the Meksha Datacrons. It's the fastest way possible, and it will change how you look at the game. Sounds quite promising, huh? So, you quick travel to the Slug Fall Harbor section, and then simply walk up the ramps right next to the quick travel point. And when you open your map window, you will see 3 long bridges. Underneath the middle bridge is the bridge with the Datacron on it. And as you can see on the map, the lower bridge is not directly underneath the upper one. In fact, it's a bit to the right. So if you would jump down from the upper bridge, you would of course die when you land on the lower one, because it's just too high up. But you can jump to the lower bridge, in fact. And here comes the cool part. Before you jump down, open your option window. By default, it's the escape button on your keyboard. And then just jump down. And while you're in the air, press log out and press immediately right afterwards. And when you're logged out, simply log back in. You will be on the lower bridge, alive and with full health. I have known this trick for many years. For example, if you own a Coruscant stronghold, then you can do the same thing on the balcony, at least on some spots, some places there. When you log back in, you will be on a lower level where nobody is supposed to be, and you can do this trick again and again and get even lower. On some planets, it used to work, it doesn't work anymore. Back in the day, I was able to explore the deserts of CZ-198 with this trick. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anyway, have fun with the Datacron and with exploring the game in a new way. Greetings from Germany. Bye.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, Florian. I had this, and I had heard this tip by the time I was doing the Datacrons. So I ended up using, like I said, I used the version from Kidley where you kind of like skip onto the rainbow colored kiosk and then immediately drop off of it, so that you can land and barely survive, and that worked for me. But I had this in the back of my head, so once I actually got the Datacron that way, kind of the normal way, semi-normal anyway, I did try that version. I think though you have to make sure that you're really going to land on the deck, because if you're just going to be landing near the deck, as I did a couple of times, when you log back in, you'll be in like this this bubble. You'll be floating in the middle of nowhere, and it's like a little invisible box you can't get out of. So you have to like quick travel basically, or swap to another planet or whatever. So yeah, you'll have to make sure that that you would really land on the deck near the Datacron, because if you're just gonna like jump past it or be kind of near that area, the game's not going to consider you being there. If it's just going to put you like in this weird void bubble, like I would say it. So yeah, but yeah, that was a cool tip, and it's kind of neat. So there's potentially other places in the game you could explore that way. Second tip is from Medulla. Hey guys, quick one for you. With Onslaught, they introduced the tactical slot. While it's looking like each class is going to have a best-in-slot tactical, there are some that are useful in certain situations. One nice thing you can do is hotkey them, which will swap them, so you don't need to look in your inventory for the one you want. This is especially useful and unfair for operatives and assassins who can stealth out to swap out tacticals on the fly in combat. For example, I'm in a PvP match and I'm close to death. I can stealth out and swap my Volatile Strike tactical, which is the one I use by the way, for the Life Warden tactical, which will activate and heal me rapidly. If I'm still out of combat, I can even swap back to Volatile Strike. And if not, I can vanish later to swap out again. Very cool.
That is such a neat idea, because they are items, and so just like with med packs, you can put them on your quick bars.
Yep.
And if you have hotkeys set up on those quick bars, then it's like you can set up a whole row of buttons if you have 5 or 6 of them that are actually useful for your class. And
that's right.
If you're not in combat, you can switch them.
Yeah, absolutely. Now sometimes I notice, like, even though I'm using my vanish in PvP, it doesn't always take me out of combat correctly. So it's not all. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and it seems to depend a lot on like what else is going on, and like, do I have dots on me? If I'm guarding someone, that tends to mess it up as well. Anything like that. But a lot of times, yeah, you do get out of combat pretty quickly. And yeah, if you swap out that tactical is a fair bit of healing, and then you could swap right back, because once you're out of combat, you can change your gear. Now, there used to be like a thing in PvP war zones where like you couldn't change gear at all, but apparently this will work. So maybe this is more for world PvP. I'm not sure. I'm curious. I'd be curious to see how well it works in war zones. I think you can change gear though. I think I remember actually swapping out some gear once, not because I was looking to get some sort of big advantage, but just because the war zone hadn't quite started yet, and I wanted to put in a new piece of gear that I'd just gotten. But anyway, yeah, I like that. It's an interesting tip. And I like the idea that more than one tactical might be useful, even if there is a sort of a best in slot, is kind of a nice one to have. There are some. I've noticed that there are some tacticals out there that look really good for like solo. Like if you're just doing like a daily area sort of area, and you'd have to do like a lot of grinding. There's the ones that heal you back after you kill something up to every 8 seconds. You could put your companion on damage and then get enough healing back, and just kind of grind your way through a whole area if you needed to, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I did a tip myself just for fun, and because I didn't realize this was part of the new user interface, but I got it pointed out by my streams chatters. This is the move all crafting materials to your storage button, and it defaults to the green, so anything that's green or white, it will automatically put into the storage. Which is useful but kind of limited. And what you can do instead is you right-click it to bring up a menu, and you can change that level that it defaults to, and you just go to the gold one. So everything gold and below, so basically anything that's crafting at that point, it will automatically shuttle into your storage, which is great. I don't know why it doesn't default to gold to begin with, but it defaults to green. Change it to gold. That's my recommendation, and you'll have to do it on every character. It's not account wide or anything like that. You have to change it for every character. Yeah, and by the way, if you are still working this out, but if you have something in storage that you need to give to a guildie or put on the GTN to sell, you can use the left or the shift click thing, that the one that lets you split stacks in your regular inventory, that same sort of mechanic works to split your crafting inventory, and then it'll create a stack that you can then just place in your inventory like normal and sell it or whatever you want to do with it. So there you go. All right. By random allotment, the winner is Florian. So congratulations, Florian. You're the winner of a Tonfon or M83R droid pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and a new OotiniCast provided Cartel Market pack from the latest shipment, which is, you know, it's always the ultimate pack nowadays. They're not really changing that anymore.
Yeah.
So if you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show, and that will bring us to the Jedi Mind Trap. Doc?
All right, so for the Mind Trap this week, I was looking at the general chat, and I just couldn't believe how hopeless the conversation in general chat was. On the Starforge, so good job, guys. It's just like there were people who were jumping in and clearly are just saying things to start a riot, and I turned general chat off, and then I played for several days and realized that I was having a much more peaceful existence than I'm used to, because I had no chat channels open at all, and I just forgot to turn them back on because I didn't happen to be doing anything that required them. And so that's where this question comes from. And so what I'm interested in from our audience is, in SWTOR, when you log in, what demeanor do you use to interact with other people more often than not? So obviously, if we play this game for 2 hours straight, we're probably going to have moments that touch on all four of these feelings. So I had to include more often than not, because the goal is, who are we trying to be? And who do we most often become as we're playing Star Wars: The Old Republic? So the four options for this week were supportive or an interested person, meaning someone says something and I'll reach out and I'll show interest and I'll try to guide them in the right direction. Pure troll, which did not have very many voters who self-selected that option, but based on the general chat, I guess we can assume that a very small percent of the people who play this game are this, and none of them listen to OotiniCast, right? They're just very vocal, right? And then the cranky and perturbed kind of people. So, you know, this strikes me with, you know, that critical person when you're trying to pug an operation or something, and they expect you to know the boss mechanics already, or just to not suck at the game. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just, SWTORista posted on Twitter yesterday that she was going through some of her old files for articles she never published. And she mentioned that she had a unpublished article titled "How to Suck Less at SWTOR." And I said, you know, if you published it, people would probably read that. I would love to read it. I think that anytime you get a list of things to do to be less awful at a game that you enjoy playing, I think that that's an interesting piece. But anyway, when you are one of those people who would benefit from being terrible less, sometimes you get really cranky people on your case. And then the final option was what I became almost by accident, passive, and just keep to yourself. Don't share information, but also don't reach out to make anyone's day less awesome than it currently is, and just stick to yourself. So chill when you see this question. What kinds of things do you think people might go through when they interact with you during a stream or while you're in game?
Right. Well, I was going to actually, that's actually what I had in mind here, as I did put supportive and interested. Having said that, I turn off general chat, so I'm not necessarily interested in interacting with like everyone who's on the realm. You know, whatever server planet I'm on, I'm not necessarily, you know, looking to chat in that way. Having said that, you know, I'm happy to chat with anyone who's in the C Join Ootini channel or in the guild, and so and I did put supportive and interested. I don't know if that's necessarily my like natural demeanor though, because I remember back like in the early days of SWTOR, when we were doing the podcast, and we did have the podcast guilds, from day one, of course, but because I wasn't streaming, I wasn't being as sociable, and so I think my sort of natural bent is to be pretty passive. But I'm on stream, and we are in the guild and so forth, and so I think that brings me out a little bit out of my shell, and I'm happy to chat with people, and Kitty and other people in the guild are fond of anytime someone gets the rampage. The rampage conquest done, then and a little thing pops up, they all shout rampage. And so we do stuff like that, and it makes it fun. So it's nice that the streaming and the guild and so forth, and that kind of helps me be a little bit more supportive and interested. So that's what I put.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I also, before I share a little bit more about this, I want to give a special recognition to Sewell, who follows me on Twitter and often participates in some of our conversations about the game. And I just thought the idea to explain the answer they gave is to go on the cartel market and buy some of the unlocks for things that you don't get unless you're a subscriber. So when you do pug a piece of group content, like a flashpoint, if somebody has a particularly nice attitude, to just mail one of those things to them.
Oh, wow.
Like an extra quick bar slot, or just things that you would normally pay cartel coins to unlock.
Right.
And
possibly more than you'd be able to get as a free to play or preferred player, because they're still kind of limited in the amount of credits they can access.
Well, right. So you're not really going to be able to buy a lot of those things off the GTN because people are probably selling them for more than the credit cap.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a really nice idea. I've never thought about doing that.
That's a very sweet idea.
Hadn't occurred to me as something that you could do, but just a really creative way to spread positivity to people, and something that's useful that they probably didn't
didn't even know was possible to access, really.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of votes for this. This is a very short poll. You only had this out a few hours, and we got over 100 votes on it.
Yeah, I did drop it in some of the Discords for my ops teams and tried to get people aware of it. But it's really awesome that we got over 100 votes, and the poll was only open for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So really nice job, everybody, because, for example, my dissertation was open for a month and 2 days, and it only got 6 times that many votes in hundreds of more hours. So,
right.
Although it was harder to complete than one question. So, when I'm thinking about this, there's a series of research articles that are very important to me about how people play and how that leads to socialization in the game, and how that leads to our approach to tackling obstacles, and particularly obstacles in MMOs that require a teamwork orientation. And so, Chill, you have the show notes, so you can see these 2 images, but it just comes up with the different types of players we end up being. That in some research we identify these as hardcore or casual or combined, and in other ways of thinking, like the digital games design system, we have type 1, the conqueror, type 2, the manager, type 3 is a wanderer, and type 4 is a participant. And I think that what we log in to do, I think, puts us in a mindset. And sometimes that mindset bleeds onto other players' experience.
Okay.
And so in relation to the fleet trolls, I think that they're probably trying to accomplish something on the fleet with those kinds of posts. It brings in attention, and maybe in an online game, even negative attention feels like good attention.
Right.
And so you start to, psychologically, you start to thrive off of initiating that kind of conversation. And so it's not really, I don't think that they're trying to hurt the play experience of other people, but I think when we're being honest with ourselves, it is a way to make your play experience more of a priority for you, regardless of what impact it has on other players. And so if anyone has an issue with that, it's probably because they prefer to play the game in a way that my way of playing is not going to impose anything on other people. Whereas that's a price some people are willing to pay. I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to cast trolls as terrible human beings. I think that there's a psychological need that they're meeting, and the Imperial fleet and Republic fleets are a natural collection of people where you can do whatever you want, say whatever you want, and there's no consequence. So why not? Because we seem to always exist in places where there are consequences.
That's true.
So I think that as long as the way we're playing is helping us to meet those psychological needs, then the game is good for us. And then if it's not doing that, then some of those issues are going to bleed over into real life. And then that's when things get more complicated, and probably not what I'm wanting to talk about today. But it's about looking at what kinds of content are we playing and what kinds of people are we connecting with. Do we have relationships, or do we just randomly encounter these people because Group Finder paired us together? And so for us, like, chill, if I didn't know you and you're just in a random boarding party with me, then I can more or less say whatever I want to you. And even if we hit it off, there's a very good chance we're never going to cross paths again.
Right. That's right.
Right. So you have to, in that moment, do extra things like decide to add someone to your friends list, or say something complimentary about what it felt like to play with them. And so maybe they will respond when you whisper to them, like, hey, want to do another Flashpoint 2 days later. Right. So I think that obviously if you're doing the pure troll answer, you're not trying to build any of that kind of relationship. And then passive, you're probably not either. You're just trying to stay calm and do your own thing in the game. And you have a solo goal, or maybe you have a group goal, like I need to beat 5 veteran mode flashpoints, but you aren't doing those flashpoints for the group aspect of it. You're doing it for your own solo completion of the weekly mission. Right. So there's, I don't want this mind trap to expand today. It's a lot of ideas, and I just think it's really interesting how you can see so much of what people are doing in the game by what they spend their time typing, or not typing. Right. So let's all think about that. And I would prefer to have a positive impact on the people around me, but if that's not your thing, then I hope I don't cross paths with you. And let's move along.
All right. That'll bring us to the holo feed. So the European servers, they're still having troubles, or at least they have, at least as a couple days ago. So we've talked about this the last couple episodes. So we're talking about the last month or so. There's been issues with the Tulak Horde and Darth Malgus servers especially. And since the last episode, there's actually been multiple instances where Tulak Horde or Darth Malgus servers, or both, have been taken down. They've been trying to stop these ongoing, mostly disconnect issues, it certainly seems like. However, like, the last instance that this happened was about 4 days before this recording. So hopefully the servers are now stable. I guess time will tell. The cause, when they talked about it in the past, which hasn't happened the last couple times, but when they talked about it before, about what seemed to be actually happening on these servers, it did seem to be some sort of hardware issue. So hopefully they've sorted that out. But yeah, so there's been quite a bit going on with that. They've also announced the in-game events for December. Relics of the Gree, we're going to start with kind of like the low priority ones. Relics of the Gree is going to be December 3rd, so today, through December 10th. And then later on in the month, at the very end of the month, is going to be the Bounty Contract Week. That's going to be December 31st through January 7th of 2020. And wow, we're got less than a month before 2020 is here. Yikes. But then the main part is going to be in the middle. Well, there's also going to be a Rat Ghoul Resurgence from December 17th to December 24th. So those are kind of the normal ones. But then we have sort of the special ones. So we've got Life Day. This is going to be from December 17th through January 7th. So this is also going to be when the patch is going to drop, which also means it's also when crafting is going to alter. And we'll see the final details later. You do need to be level 10 or above for most of the, they say for Life Day events. Basically just because you need to be like, you need to have access to your ship and stuff like that. It's that time of year again. Denizens across the galaxy, get ready to celebrate Life Day. Special missions like a special snowflake, parcel droid, and could use a good hug are available during the limited time. Throwing snowballs and participating in the missions will earn players snow-covered parcels, redeemable for unique rewards. Get out there, throw some snowballs, hug some Wookiees, and have fun. Slay 1 and JO1Y mounts are going to be available. The Wampa Rug, Snowblower, and Freezer unit stronghold decorations will be available. Red, blue, pink, green, gold, and more hollow trees. Several character titles, and planet-themed snow globes. So yeah, Life Day is back. So
do you add the snowball to your bar and just spam everybody with it when this event is going?
I've done so, yes. Especially if there was like a particular like decoration or something that I really wanted, or a mount. I've done that before. Yeah, it's easy enough though to, if you do it on your companion, you can just wipe it off of them very quickly. So you can just use your own companion. It's pretty easy that way.
Oh, tip of the week.
Yeah, there you go. Same day, December 17th also is the 8-year anniversary, the start of that. It'll go until January 7th. And they say we're happy to celebrate our 8th anniversary on December 20th. To mark the milestone, a special anniversary personnel vendor can be found on the fleet with new class ship stronghold decorations, and they have a little picture of it. So we're not talking about the full size, class ships. Those are kind of available in the game as well. But these are like little models that are on little, hovering above little table things.
Yeah, they're like pedestals, like the floating
pedestals.
lightsaber stands that they've given us before too.
Yes, and they look very nice. They look really pretty in that picture. I think that's going to be a really nice decoration to have, especially if you happen to really like your class ship. I mean, I have my preferences for class ships, but they're all kind of important to the class. So, and they look nice. So yeah, so that'll be pretty cool. Previous anniversary rewards will also be available during the limited time as well. Alongside this, both the Coruscant and Drummoncost strongholds will be available for only 8 credits each. So if you...
Man, they're gouging us.
So yeah,
they were only 7 credits last year.
That's right. If you haven't done the stronghold thing before, or maybe you haven't unlocked both of those, hey, go ahead and grab them then. Why not? There'll also be faction-based fireworks, commemorative statues of HK-51, Valkorion, and Malgus. The Senya Hollow statue will be available, and that one's really good because it's actually a vendor as well as a trainer, so that's pretty cool. Fireworks celebratory backpack, several stronghold decoration posters, class ship stronghold decorations, which we talked about, and more. So there we go.
I want to add one thing to my week that I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the episode. I finally got my Rishi stronghold.
Hey, nice.
And it is not decorated, so if we're
That's
able
big.
to get 1,000 of each of these ships, ooh boy.
There's going to be ships everywhere.
Ships everywhere. Not chairs. We're upgrading. We're moving up.
That's right.
In the world.
Yeah, that's a really cool stronghold. I have it unlocked,
love it.
but I haven't really decorated it. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that might make a nice new one because I've had the Nar Shaddaa one forever, and I mostly just have it in that starting area, and then I just have the GTN and the, all my storage and everything. It's just, it's very utilitarian. It might be nice to do the same. You can kind of do the same thing at the starting area of the Rishi one now. They added a fair bit of hooks to that little landing wooden platform that you are on. Right after last episode, game update 6.0.1a dropped. There was very little involved in it on our, as far as facing us as players. The patch notes include only 3 things. RE1, the new pet that you got for logging in, no longer lists a vendor sale price since it can't be sold. More importantly, corrected an issue in story mode operations where a player can cause their stats to become much higher than intended. I wasn't aware of this particular bug / exploit or whatever, but since it's all story mode operations, it seems like it has something to do with the stat boost. I'm not sure exactly what was going on with that, but interesting. And finally, updated the refresh rate on the user interface, which was causing issues such as the UI not properly displaying when an ability is usable. Interesting. I wasn't aware of that bug, but it didn't seem to affect me that I know of, but great that they fixed it. And yeah, so not a ton of SWTOR news. In general Star Wars news, I thought it was interesting that The Mandalorian already has popped up to become the 6th most popular TV show, despite only being available on Disney+. And I found that on the Data is Beautiful. It's a YouTube channel where they do statistical, basically they basically visualize stats, and they do a pretty interesting job of it. And yeah, so Mandalorian popped up to 6th place already, which is pretty impressive given that it only has 4 episodes out now. I've seen 3 of them. I would have seen the 4th one, only I wasn't able to get meet up with my girlfriend this weekend. She was feeling under the weather, so hope she feels better soon. And yeah, I'll watch it with her next time we're together. So so no spoilers for me for episode 4, please, because I haven't seen it yet. I've been trying to avoid my YouTube channels because I do follow a lot of people who do this is what all the Easter eggs were, and this is all the things you missed, and all the little details from episode 4, and it's like, no, don't show me yet. But yeah,
well, it was a very good episode, Chill, and excellent. I can't wait. Maybe we should redo our show notes to have a little bit more prominent space for general Star Wars, in times like these, because I'm looking at the countdown on my phone and you can't see it because of the green screen. Haha. Well, 16 days until Rise of Skywalker.
Wow. Yeah, that's gonna be right after the next show. So we'll definitely have to talk about the movie next episode, or at least our hopes and potential plot thoughts for the movie before it comes out, and then we'll have to check in once the next episode hits after that too.
Yeah. What are you seeing it on the opening day, Chill?
Friday. Yeah, I think technically you can see it on Thursday.
There's Thursday night's opening night. Yeah, but
there are going to be people who see it overnight on Thursday, but I'm going to see it fairly early on Friday actually, so I'll be among the earliest to see it. Yeah. Okay. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. That'll be a fun episode. Yeah. I've already got my tickets. It's for one of the IMAX theaters. I want to try it on the big screen, not 3D though, or anything like that. But I want to see it on the big screen, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited about it. I want to add one more thing to our episode. This is something that I noticed on Sunday night when we did the story mode nature of progress.
Okay.
And I'm just sharing it with you and our audience so that maybe we can talk about it more next episode. There are certain ads that are supposed to be champions or mini boss type of ads in the operation, but in story mode they die in a few seconds.
Oh wow!
Which completely changes the experience of the fight, because something that should be a prominent challenge that takes you about 30 seconds to kill, a focused effort takes you 3 seconds to kill.
Wow!
And so you don't really get the feeling of what you're actually supposed to be doing because you just blast your way through it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of sharing that as you know, if you are interested in doing Nature of Progress and your aspirations are just story mode, but you'd like to see what the op is like, I would recommend you jump in now. It's very doable. There are some mechanics in every fight, obviously, still.
Good.
But it was, you know, the final boss is obviously going to be the most challenging one. But I think that the op is currently built in a way that skews a little bit to the easier side. And
Okay.
so just doing it veteran mode first and then doing it story mode, it just like flipped my brain on Sunday at how weak some of the enemies are in story mode.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm kind of opening up a question of, you know, couldn't we have just made them weaker but still have a substantial health bar? Anyway, that's my last thing. I forgot to bring it up at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, that's fine. All right, then. That's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our guild on the Empire side, do a /c join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @OotiniCast. You can find contact details for us all on our website, OotiniCast.com, which includes how to subscribe to us using iTunes, Stitcher, and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Tuesdays, noon Pacific. Go to OotiniCast.com/live to find out how to join in. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice week.
And we'll see you next show. All right. Thanks for coming, everyone. And yeah, I'm going to do some editing. I will stream later on today and have fun. All right. Stopping the stream.